Buthelezi, the warlord who tried to conceal the blood on his hands. By Richard Lister and Howard Varney. With the death of Mengisuthu Buthelezi last weekend, we have had to deal with the hypocritical but entirely predictable rewriting of the history of this man, and of the political party synonymous with his name. Words like elder statesman and a peacemaker dominate the news of his passing, not only here, but abroad as well, with the BBC and the New York Times perpetuating an historically inaccurate version of who Buthelezi really was. This suppression and reconstruction of historical fact disgraces and insults the memories of the thousands of people who suffered as a result of the reign of terror which he unleashed, with the help of the apartheid state, in the 1980s and 1990s. Authors and journalists have very publicly and bravely sought to set the record straight in the past and to remind us that Buthelezi's carefully constructed public persona was a facade for a dangerous and violent man. This article attempts, again, to set the record straight. On October 16, 1986, Brigadiers Van Niekerk and John Moore, officers from the South African Defence Forces Covert Unit, the Directorate of Special Tasks, DST, met with Chief Minister Buthelezi. John Moore prepared a top-secret memorandum of the meeting, with the reference ST/310/4/Marion 20 October 1986 in which he noted, the Chief Minister is concerned about his image and said that he recently attacked Jen Mellon over certain statements he made but said, this was done tongue-in-cheek. For his part, Defence Minister Magnus Mellon coached Buthelezi on building his anti-apartheid credentials. At a meeting between Mellon, Buthelezi and M. Zikumolo, the IFP Secretary-General, in Durban on March 21, 1988, Mellon emphasized that Buthelezi must expand his influence locally and throughout the rest of Africa. He instructed DST to set up visits for Buthelezi to African leaders such as Mobutu Sese Seko and Felix Houphouët-Boigny. Buthelezi thanked Mellon for the visits that the SADF had already organized for him. Mellon stressed to Buthelezi that he should not couple himself to the South African government during visits abroad, as recorded in a top-secret memo dated March 23, 1988 of the meeting prepared by Van Niekerk. These extracts sum up the duplicitous role of Buthelezi in South Africa's history, aptly referred to in the title of Mzola's 1988 book, Chief with a Double Agenda. What was manufactured for public consumption bore little resemblance to his actual role. Buthelezi's carefully manipulated public persona was that of a man of peace tirelessly campaigning against apartheid. Indeed, he became the darling of liberals locally and globally who were enamored with a moderate black leader who espoused non-violence as a means of change. In reality, Buthelezi was on the apartheid state's payroll the moment he graduated from Fort Hare University, kicking off as a homeland clerk, while other notable graduates who stood up to the apartheid state were being harassed and detained. He remained on the state payroll throughout the apartheid era, propping up the Bantustan system by heading up the KwaZulu self-governing territory. KwaZulu was a one-party homeland, and the KwaZulu Legislative Assembly, KLA, was effectively reserved for the Inkatha Freedom Party, IFP. The few dissenters who had the temerity to oppose Buthelezi in the KLA were quickly removed and even beaten up in the assembly chamber. From the MNG archives.